What are your thoughts when facing an opponent?
There is no opponent.
And why is that?
Because the word I does not exist.
Be water, my friend.
Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Killian, Coriander, we're here.
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
Glad to be here.
Right? Oh man. Now I got a little echo. Can you guys hear that?
No.
Okay, good. Maybe it's just me. We're going to be talking about Enter the Dragon, and man, I've been waiting so long to talk about this. Let me get a quick take from you guys before we start off. Coriander, I'll go with you first, and then you, Killian.
Ah, damn. Bruce Lee was so mesmerizing. I couldn't take my eyes off him.
How about you, Gil?
Look, man, this is Kung Fu theater, and this is hands down the best Mortal Kombat movie that's ever been made. No, I'm just kidding. This is the original. This is the granddaddy of them all. This is Enter the Dragon. I mean, come on, man. There's no lying here. Okay? We all know this movie is amazing, and it still holds up.
Yes. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, look, this movie is so amazing, man. I mean, all the goodness in it. It's Bruce Lee, his masterpiece. Let's just see who we have in the chat here. Let's see. We've got Patrick in the chat saying John Saxon steals the movie. Come on now. He whipped Bolo in less time than Bruce Lee did Bob Wall and Han. Let's see. We got Mr. Dan's in the chat saying, rest in peace, John Saxon. Absolutely. We got Biffer in the chat saying John Saxon looks like Zac Efron.
Yeah, I can see that a little bit in the face.
Yeah.
Maybe the hair. That's the only place I can see it is like the hair.
Let's see. John Saxon signed my copy of Enter the Dragon as Roper. All right. Nice. Let's see what else. Yeah, we got Corey's in the chat. King Nego himself. What's going on, man? Nice to have you. Patrick says, awesome intro. Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Trenty's in the chat saying, hey, what's up? This movie is awesome. Nice. Patrick says, I posted a review of Master Z at Men Legacy on my channel. Oh, all right, Patrick. There you go. Very cool. Let's see. We got Cindy Moon in the chat saying, Lee's the GOAT. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Trenchy says, the trio of Lee, John Saxon, and Jim Kelly kick ass. It sure did, man. It sure did. All right, guys. Oh, we got one more. Actually, two more here. Video Tasty's in the chat saying, as a kid, I thought it was Bruce Lee in No Retreat, No Surrender. No, it wasn't. But No Retreat was a pretty good movie, though. Absolutely. All right. So, Kill, let's start this thing off, man. We're talking about one of the greatest martial arts movies of all time from 1973. You know, as well as anyone, how much I love this movie, how many times I've seen this movie over and over, and it just doesn't get old. So I'll let you start off. What do you got?
You know, Bruce Lee, rest in peace. This movie not only drips his personality, his love of the martial arts and the philosophy of the martial arts, but just his love of also telling a good story, and dealing with a lot of moral issues as well. And I mean, you put all of that in here, and I'm not going to jump ahead because I know we're going to unravel this stuff. But I mean, this movie starts off, and you know, Bruce is at the Shaolin monastery, and you know, the fight that was going on between him and another student, and the respect that they showed to each other, the respect they showed to their elders and their masters and so forth. I thought it was just the perfect way to start this journey. You know, it was just the perfect way to start all of this. And you can tell Bruce just had a hand in everything, with the details, with just all of it, and it just comes out in his magnum opus. That's what this is. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How about you, Coriander? What do you think about everything from the beginning of the movie and so forth?
Yeah, I thought it was great. Like I said, Bruce Lee, he was mesmerizing. Like when he was fighting, he brought like a grace and ease to it that, wow, it was like, I just couldn't stop watching him. And I just thought, the start was, really good. I mean, like you say, he completed his training, and, you know, then they like send him on this task because they see that he's got this special gift, you know what I mean? Because he's incredible. I'm sorry, but he really is.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, man, you know, this movie starts off, and I just want to back up because Killian knows this, and I hope I don't nerd out too much. But the thing starts off with him in his fight, and it's basically a ceremony, like a graduation ceremony. And who's he fighting, Kill? Who's that? Sammo Hung. Sammo Hung, one of the three brothers, along with Jackie Chan and Yoon Biao. And for anyone that's a martial arts fan, they know that Sammo's amazing and still doing things today, which is great. He's done a lot of choreography for a lot of great movies, including Ip Man movies and so forth. So I just want to throw that out there. It was just awesome. Sammo had a moment, and we'll get into another moment later on. But you have that scene where he's talking to his Sifu being teacher. And this is an added scene, by the way. I want to throw this out. I'm going to throw out some facts here and there. This was an added scene. When me and Kill, when we were kids, when I was a kid, that scene was not in Enter the Dragon. They actually added that during one of the anniversaries. It might have been the 15th anniversary or 20th or something like that. But that was a scene that was added. It was unfinished, and they finished it up and so forth. But in that scene, you got a lot of the philosophy of Bruce Lee, the philosophy of a martial artist, and I thought it was amazing setup for his character. And then you have the scene where he meets Braithwaite and is basically asked to go to this tournament. But before he's asked to go to the tournament, and I was talking about this with Coriander, he has that scene with his student. It was so cool because Braithwaite is talking about this mission and we need you, and Bruce is just so cool about it, and he's like, it's Lao's time. And you know, he just walks away. It goes over to his student. And that's because his student is the most important thing. You know, as a teacher, your student is one of your most prized things in your life. At least it should be. And it was such a great interaction. In that 3-minute scene, you understood so much about Bruce Lee as a character. And it was just so cool because I was saying this to Coriander, and I'll throw it to you in a second, Kill, but in these first couple minutes of this movie, you really see what Bruce Lee is about as a character. Whereas last night, when we were talking about AVP Requiem, they could not develop these characters over the course of an hour and a half. You get what I'm saying? So in Enter the Dragon, we already get a sense of what Bruce Lee's about. I'll throw it over to you, Kill, as we continue from that point on with him and Braithwaite.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I love the pacing of this movie because you go from the Shaolin monastery to his meeting with Braithwaite, where Braithwaite just breaks it down. He's like, "Look, one of your ex-Shaolin monks, he's gone rogue. He has his own island. We need the goods on him. We can't get anyone in there because he's dealing in opium, weapons, prostitution ring. He's got his hands in everything."
Yes.
And Mortal Kombat,
yes,
and numerous movies and animes. You guys all need to bend the knee and kiss the ring,
right?
Because this is the inception of the villain's island, okay? Yes. And the tournament that the villain is having. He has this tournament, once every few years to recruit new talent. Mm-hmm. And to further extend Street Fighter, to extend his evil empire,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
I love just the pacing of it. Braithwaite shows him like a little film reel,
yes,
and then boom, we're off to the races. And once again, it's never anything throwaway because he's showing him all this stuff and talking about his certain henchmen, and there he is. Your boy Bob Wall, O'Hara, and Bruce is like, okay, but everything is done for a reason. And the last thing I'll say, Knight, like how you were talking about the character building of AVP, we are character building right here in this conversation with Braithwaite.
Yes,
whereas Bob Wall O'Hara has a connection to Bruce Lee. And I love how they go from point A to point B, and you get little tidbits very quickly, but it works, and it helps to make you care about these characters. Hope I'm not going too ahead of myself. Bruce Lee's, his sister, her character, as brief as it is, but the character building is so much better in so many more movies that we've seen lately. So that's all I'm gonna say for now.
Absolutely,
so true.
And real quick before I get to you, Coriander, I just want to catch up in the chat a little bit. Biffer was talking about the line "boards don't hit back." That's right.
Right.
Absolutely. And Patrick had called it that Sammo Hung was in that first scene. And Biffer says, "Surely this isn't the same guy that got wrecked by Cliff Booth Once Upon a Time in America." And man, that's a whole nother story. I feel a certain kind of way about that, but I'm not gonna get into it. But yeah, you're right, man. You're right. Let's see what else we got. That was funny. Trenchy said, "Yeah, the villains in this movie are dope." Yeah, absolutely. Patrick says James Bond may have had the first villain's island, but Enter the Dragon perfected the idea. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree.
Very
This
true.
is, so many movies copied Enter the Dragon with this. But Coriander, let me throw it to you because Killian made a great point about how we got this backstory and we talked about Bruce Lee's daughter and kind of some of the motivations.
Sister.
And by the way,
Sister.
Sister. I'm sorry. And by the way, this was your first time watching this, Coriander. So
yeah, it was.
Let me know what did you think about that scene showing the story behind his sister and the fallout of all that.
Well, that just made me hate the bodyguard even more.
Yeah.
So when he got his, I was like, that's like my favorite is when Bruce Lee took care of his ass because that was awesome.
Absolutely.
And I just have to say, I love how he acts with his face, like even with conversations to fighting. I mean, he's so effective to the eyeball roll, to the, just hurry up and get done with it. It's like, he's great. That's all I have to
Absolutely. Say. And, it just more character development because they showed him going to the cemetery, paying his respects. He's a very respectful person. And then...
And can I say, too, because you guys keep referring to AVP Requiem here, it seemed like that movie took forever to end. When this movie was so quick, I mean, when it ended, I was like, oh my God, no, I want to watch it again, because, it just, it wasn't long enough.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Slasher Fred says Bruce Lee was known for playing Kato in the series The Green Hornet. Yep, he sure
Yep.
was. That's where American audiences first really got to see him. Trenchy says, yeah, Tarantino kind of put his foot in his mouth. Ha ha ha. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Biffer said, legend has it that Bruce was not allowed to use his full speed due to the camera not being able to capture his movement. Yeah, I mean, as far as anything I've ever found out over the years, he did have to change, and you have to do that anyways, because as a real martial artist, you change your technique for the camera so that the things can be seen, because otherwise it's just a blur of motion. So he did have to do a lot of changing of his technique, and you have to do that anyways for filming. But he definitely had to make extra alterations. But once we see him pay his respects, the movie starts to open up more, because then we get introduced to the other characters, and that was
real character development begins.
Yes,
and that was awesome.
Yeah, you have the great John Saxon, who was shown as kind of a gambling type of guy who's always nickel and diming it, so to speak. And you also have the scene where you see Jim Kelly, who plays Williams, who goes back to his teacher and kind of gets the okay to go into this tournament. I don't think a lot of people get that scene, but he went there to pay his respects. You have to pay your respects to your teacher if you do things the right way. And you saw him, they kind of embraced and they kind of gave a nod to each other. And that's what he was doing, paying respect, saying, I need to have your okay, your blessing to go and do this. Because as a student, you always represent your teacher. Anything you do, you're always representing your school and your teacher. So that's what that was. So Kill, take me through that as we start to open up with Roper and Williams.
Well, what I also love about that scene is it's in the backdrop of them being ferried to the boat.
Yes.
And you have a beautiful scene of like the harbor and how some of the poorer people of this area live. Mm-hmm. But it's still a beautiful scene, and it's something that I'm sure Bruce said, hey, I want that in there. Yes. Because that is a part of this place, and these are people that probably are very much underrepresented, have little to no representation. Right. And each of the John Saxon and Jim Kelly are coming to the boat, and we get more character development for each of them. John Saxon is fast talking. He has a ton of luggage with him. Yes. And
always first class.
Stylish.
Oh yeah, always first class. Handsome man, and he's a fast talker, and he's a hustler. He's a gambler. He's a loose cannon. Yes. Then you have Williams, Jim Kelly, like you said, Knight. He goes to pay respect to his old dojo. No words are needed. He just goes to his Sifu. Yes. He kind of gives him a pound, kind of points to him, and is like, "Thank you," and he leaves. And here's some morality. As soon as he leaves out of there, he's just walking with his bag, living his best life. The police roll up on him, and I dare say they're a little racist. They're like, "Oh, he's going on a trip. He's going to Hawaii." And the other cop is like, "He's not going to Hawaii. If I'm not going to Hawaii, he's not going to Hawaii." Right. And they tried to beat his ass, but this is Jim Kelly, and he whooped that ass.
Yeah,
so that was awesome.
Trenchy just said that too. Yeah.
And to see that in a martial arts movie at this time, that's very interesting. And Jim Kelly wasn't the main character. Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? Go ahead.
And I don't mean to interrupt you, but one, Patrick was just saying, brothers were being messed with by the cops. Not much has changed since then. Amen to that. And I thought that was very cool of the filmmakers and Bruce, because Bruce had a lot of input in this movie. A lot of people don't know that. Not only did he choreograph the fights, but the infusing of the philosophies, like you said, Killian, a lot of the morality moments with the underrepresented, and I thought it was cool that they had that moment for Jim Kelly as well, because it just showed what was going on in the world at that time. Like Patrick said, not much has changed. Not much. Another story for another day. But yeah.
I'm sorry. And one last thing I'll say, which was very interesting. Once both of these gentlemen get to the ship, you realize that they know each other. They know friends. Each other from Vietnam.
From the military. Yes.
Yeah, and once again they give a quick critique on society, where Jim Kelly says, whether it's a ghetto here or a ghetto back home, a
Yes.
ghetto is a ghetto.
Yes.
And this is all in a martial arts movie, people. Like, are we seeing the, because there's another scene on this boat where a bully is messing with someone and Bruce fixes that real quick. So I'm gonna just let you have it, because this is amazing stuff.
And Coriander, before we get to the bullying scene, I just want to throw this up here for Video Tasty, saying a film I first saw on late night TV, but wasn't till I got widescreen VHS that I could appreciate how epic it is. Absolutely, I really agree with that. But Coriander, why don't we go through that scene that Killian just set up with the bully and what you thought of that? Because again, first time seeing it, I was wondering what you thought was going to happen.
This guy, it's such bullshit, honestly. I mean, bullying's just fucking stupid anyway,
Right.
So, and I loved how he was treated, to made look like a fucking fool that he was, and
one of the best lines was like, he says, Bruce looks at him and says, don't waste yourself. I was like,
right?
And then the guy, he's like, what's your style? And he says, my style? You could call it the art of fighting without fighting. And it's a funny line, right? But it's true in multiple ways, because he obviously overcomes the bully without fighting him, but also the philosophy. If you go back to the first scene with Bruce Lee's teacher, and he says, asking them these questions, and he's like, I does not exist, it's just the fight itself, to have no technique and all these types of things. So again, Bruce is operating on multiple levels. Not a lot of martial arts movies, even to this day, can say that. I just want to throw that out there. All right, Kill. So we're on the boat. We're getting a lot of character development. The characters, the Trinity, Williams, Lee, and Roper, they've met each other. They know what's going on. They get to the island. What are you thinking at this point? I mean, obviously, we're talking about Mortal Kombat here. I mean, Enter the Dragon here. So what are you thinking, man?
Well, it's funny, because I rewatched this earlier today, and we don't even get to the island until about like 35 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
But we get to the island. I mean, they're greeted by, some henchmen, some beautiful women, and just other students of the island. So you still don't know what's really going on. And John Saxon, he is kind of, in a way, like the audience avatar, in a way, because he's just loving it. He has the coolest smirk on his face. He's checking out the women. Yeah. He's indulged.
He saw his honey.
Oh yeah, he did. And I'm gonna talk about that. that was funny. But I love these two, because the way that Bruce, his character, and John Saxon's character play off of each other is very interesting.
Yes.
Because you can look at John Saxon and think one thing, and even the big boss thought one thing, but then he's like, no, I'm not what you, I'm kind of what you think, but I'm not that all the way there. And, so they have the big kind of little meal, to introduce all the fighters, and they're all indulging in the music and the women, the booze, the acrobatics actors, the sumo wrestlers. They're just having the best time ever. Yeah. And through all of this wonderment, Bruce is just there, and he's steady Eddie. He's just checking people out. He's looking at the competition. He's there for a mission, obviously. So he's keeping his eye on the ref, and he's so cool.
Yes.
I mean, look at that, man.
Hey, can I just say two things? I know I keep interjecting, and I'm sorry.
No, please.
Everyone's got to forgive me. This is one of my favorite movies ever.
It really is, guys.
you know that. But number one, me and Killian for years, when we would ever go on a trip, or we go somewhere and we talk to each other, and we say be safe. Instead of saying be safe, a lot of times what we say is keep an eye out on the ref.
Hey, it could be just us going to a bar. Hey, keep an eye on the ref.
Yes. And this is where it comes from. It comes from Enter the Dragon. That's number one. You're all right, man. You're all right. Number two, though, this was the first scene that Bruce filmed on the movie, okay? And part of it was he was so amped up about this opportunity. This was the first time he was basically going to be showcased in the West in a major motion picture. So everything was riding on this. You know what I'm saying? The story, how the fights would turn out, everybody involved. So even the filmmakers, Robert Klaus, who directed it, said he was nervous. Bruce was actually nervous, and they had to sit him down. They said, okay, we'll just film this first scene where you're just sitting there. And that was the first scene that Bruce Lee filmed. And I always thought that was kind of interesting to know that even someone as cool and badass as Bruce Lee can get nervous. He was human. And that was cool, man, especially as a kid growing up. That was really cool. But Coriander, just to throw it to you, actually, let me just catch up in the comments for a second here. But we've got Video Tasty says, anyone seen Balls of Fury, which parodies Enter the Dragon, but with ping pong and not martial arts?
Oh,
yes,
no.
absolutely. And we got Q-Win saying, hello, Night Watch and Horror Movie Maniacs. God, I'm late. It's all right, man.
Hey.
We're proving. Patrick says Anna Capri was so pretty she was killed in a car crash, I believe. Yeah, I believe it was a car crash, which was absolutely too bad. Absolutely. And I think I'm all caught up there. Dan saying, Night with the backstory, fascinating facts. Yeah, man. Look, and I'm going to try to hold back. I already told these two, I'm going to try to hold back because I could literally do this for an hour straight easily. So I'm going to try to hold back so you guys can get a good episode here. Patrick also said, Robert Klaus directed Jim Kelly and Black Belt Jones. Yes, absolutely. All right. So Coriander, once we kind of get an idea of who's who, and at the dinner scene, and Han is introduced, so we know that he's obviously the villain and so forth. What were you thinking at this point? Because obviously, again, being first time seeing this, Bruce is on a mission. Did you have any particular thoughts, especially before he goes out and about on his mission?
Yeah, I thought, I loved how John Saxon's character there was like, he went over to, I think it was Williams, and was like, how he's saying how they're like fattening them up, before,
for the kill.
So he's like, I thought that was so funny because it's like, I thought that is kind of true, because if you do something like that, you think that shit would slow you down if you're hungover the next day, or if you eat too much. So I thought that was pretty funny. But I mean, that dude, the moment he walked out, he just looked shady, and I don't know. I just something about him that no. And I thought it was so cool seeing him, going out and scoping the place, and how he can just like that. I don't know who said it, but it's like he's a fly, running
Jim
up
Kelly
a wall
said that.
or something. Yeah. It was so cool seeing him do all the shit that he was doing, man. Yeah, absolutely.
What about you, Kill? As we started to go through that scene when he went out the first time and didn't really find all that he was looking for because he got stopped by one of the guards, and then of course the following day when things went on and stuff like that. What were you thinking of the story at this point?
Well, sort of like what Coriander said, he's trying to actually do the part of the job, the detective stuff, get some dirt and so forth. And, he's so smooth with it. He's very ninja-like, and and the way that he expresses everything. My favorite my favorite part, and it's kind of the second night that he goes out, so I hope I'm not going too ahead of myself, is with the snake. It's with the snake, because he's about to go like into a manhole cover, into a hatch, and he sees a snake there, a cobra just waiting, and he's just like, he just like hits the snake, just grabs it. He's like, I could use this for later. Let me put this in a bag and whatnot. And it's just Bruce, his mannerisms that he does are so Bruce. And they're so, and some people might say they're exaggerated. I think that they're just, his style, which is so cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one other thing I'd just like to say about that first night, once again, Bruce is on a mission. He's focused. So don't come to his door with prostitutes. He's not there for all of that. All right. He's there to focus because he's got to keep his eye on the ball because he's fighting the next day and so forth.
Right.
So
absolutely.
Look,
All right, real quick in the chat, we got the Godfather of Cinema in the chat. What's going on, man? He says, right night, this was actually the very first time that Hollywood used an Asian actor as the featured star of a film. Wouldn't have happened if Bruce hadn't went back to Hong Kong. Absolutely, man. And I'm definitely going to get into a lot of that with Bruce's history. But he did try to make it in America and wasn't able to, and went back to Hong Kong kind of with his tail between his legs, and really felt like he was not a success. And then all of a sudden, he made those movies over there, and just the talk started to happen. He made The Big Boss, he made Fist of Fury, and then he got his chance over here. So it's awesome, really, really awesome. Let's see what else we got going on in the chat. Let's see. I think I'm all caught up with you guys. So Coriander, I'll throw it back to you. One of my favorite parts, obviously, was the fight with O'Hara. Can you take me through some of the things that you thought was interesting in that, or the setup, or whatever you may be thinking?
That's the dude with the scar. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I thought it was so funny because I think this guy thought he's gonna kick Bruce's ass and everything's all gonna be fine. But it was so funny because when they first, get started and he does that, because he's so quick, that first move, the look on his face was like, oh shit, he's like, I'm fucked, you know what I mean? Because you could just see that, he knew he was doomed. And like I said, it was awesome because he got what he deserved, and I loved every moment of it.
Absolutely. And just to throw this out, and guys in the chat, guys watching this replay, I do have a reaction of the Bruce Lee versus O'Hara fight that hopefully will be up within an hour or so. So you guys will actually be able to see that scene played out in its entirety, which would be really, really cool. I love that scene. Killian knows that. I mean, God, man, I don't even want to think about how many times I've watched it, that scene alone. But the other thing too, and Kill knows this, look at that look on my boy's face when he comes up to Bruce and he says, why are you not in uniform? And Bruce just looks at him.
Yes.
Bruce just looks at him. And I'm just like, this guy, God, man, this guy has charisma. He really did.
Yeah.
He did.
And that dude's reaction was priceless. That's all I can say. This had some funny moments also, this movie. It had everything. It was
did.
Great.
It really did have a lot to it. And then, of course, at the end of that fight, and I'm jumping all over the place, but look at the emotion. That's what I'm talking about, the emotion on his face. But anyways, but Kill, let's start jumping ahead, because I don't want to belabor this, but let's start jumping ahead as we get near the finale and so forth, and then we'll finish up there.
Okay, well, can I just talk about pretty much the second night where Bruce gets caught?
Yeah.
Okay, look, as much as I loved the O'Hara fight, the fight underground where Bruce gives them a weapons demonstration, uses multiple weapons. I mean, just this is ballet. This is watching Beethoven, do a symphony. Mm-hmm. It is masterful to watch Bruce. I mean, he's down there, he's checking for more evidence. His one-piece outfit gets ripped. He rips the top of it off, ties it around his waist, and he's like, okay, it's time for me to go to work. Right. And he commences to kicking the most ass out of all of these security guards. Yeah, I mean, these security guards must have went to the same stormtroopers from Star Wars school of trying to be thugs because they suck.
They suck.
And I mean, look, Bruce just puts on a clinic, and it's just beautiful. Is that Oh yeah, oh, come
Jackie
on,
Chan.
yeah. We know who that is.
Jackie Chan.
Hey, you gotta start somewhere,
You gotta
Jackie.
start somewhere. You got to, man.
But I love this scene. It's a long scene,
Yes,
you
it
know, and then it ends with him with the nunchucks. And I mean, to this day, the clinic that he puts on with the nunchucks, the sound effect of the nunchucks, and just how he's standing there waiting. I'm sorry, if you see a man or woman do that with nunchucks, don't rush in after them.
Yeah, don't do it.
Because you're gonna get your head cracked in, and then once again with the Zen-like calm, he knows he's captured, and he just sits down and starts to meditate.
Yes.
Perfection.
Absolutely. The ultimate warrior. Real quick too in the chat, and I know I've missed some of you guys in here, but we're just we're on a mission here. Q in it said Bruce is just there to whoop some ass.
Yeah, he is.
Dan said we need a second stream to talk all about Bruce, right? Hey, look, man.
Hey, don't tempt us.
Hey, look, all I know is this. For you guys in the chat, I always say this anyways, but let me know in the comment section. If you guys want to come back and we just do a Bruce chat, I'll be more than happy to do that. But let me know in the comments, man, seriously. The Godfather says Golden Harvest and the Shaw Brothers gave Bruce the opportunity to be himself. But Way of the Dragon is my pick for Bruce's best film because of the iconic showdown, Bruce and Chuck. Yes. Bruce and Chuck, man, I can't wait till we get to that.
Exactly.
and that actually was the first Bruce Lee movie I ever saw. And geez, Kill, that might be the reason I got into martial arts anyways, because watching it with our dad, man, seriously. We got John Shelton. What's up, man? In the chat. What's going on, man? And he was saying Sammo Hung was in there too. Absolutely. Let's see. The Godfather also saying Bruce was so obsessed with the opportunity to show his fighting style, Jeet Kune Do, to Western audiences, which led to his dangerous weight loss in this film. The guy was ripped. Yeah, he was. He definitely went to the edge, man. He really did. He put everything into this film. You know, it definitely was like an obsession. Absolutely. Patrick saying Dan Inosanto versus Bruce in the Game of Death, classic with those nunchucks. Yes, absolutely. Let's see what else. Trenchy saying Jim Kelly's death hit so brutal, but also sad. Yeah, absolutely, man. And we didn't get to that, but yeah, Jim Kelly obviously got killed because he was, you know,
falsely accused.
Again, getting some morality in there. Absolutely. Goraphobes in the chat saying, hey everyone, what's going on, man? What's going on? But Coriander, yeah, well, let's just for a real quick second talk about that Jim Kelly moment. What did you think about that as far as he was falsely accused and then, of course, fighting Han? And it was an unfair fight.
Of course it was. I mean, even the look on his face, you know, when he was talking to, you know, when he was in Han's office and, you know, he's looking at him like, seriously, are we really doing this? You know, because he's like, I want to leave. And he's like, no, you can't, you know, because he just was like, I'm being falsely accused. This is bullshit. And I felt so bad for him because, I like him and John Saxton. I love their chemistry together. When they were like fight, you know, betting against this dude and they had like a thing going. It was so friggin' funny, man.
I agree.
It was a bummer when Williams got it.
It really was. And the cool thing too, well, it wasn't cool, but John Saxon was then asked to join Han, and when he saw Jim Kelly was killed, he was like, no, you know, he said, there's a point I won't go beyond, you know. But
the look on his face too when he saw his buddy like that, he was like, oh my god,
he was horrified.
He was.
But Kill, you know, once we get to the finale, obviously, because Bruce was captured, and basically Han wanted to have John Saxon fight Bruce Lee, but he wouldn't do it. So you gotta love Han. He's like, well, we shall find someone with whom you can fight. Bolo. And I was like, oh shit. But take me through that and up to the end when we get to Han versus Bruce.
Man, look, Bolo. We all know what Bolo does, and this is young. This is young Bolo.
Yeah,
he's still big and young. And look, but the one thing I will say is John Saxon, as far as a martial artist in this movie, was not bad.
No,
like you know, and he had honor. Where Bruce was about to step in and say, "I got this," you know, John Saxon, no words, he just
stopped. Yep.
Just I got this, and Bruce was like, "All right," and he backed out of the way.
I love Bruce because Bruce was just sitting back like, "All right, let me just see what you guys gonna do." Bruce was so badass, man.
And I mean, just that whole scene, you know, has been mimicked by like Mortal Kombat and numerous other movies. But you have all of the students on the side watching, and you have the two combatants. You have the king on his throne. He's watching. He's surrounded by his female bodyguards that are killers themselves. And you have this fight breaking out, and you know, and one thing about John Saxon, he's not as honorable as Bruce because he will bite your calf, and that hurts. and another thing, meanwhile, while this is going on, Mei Ling is releasing the indigenous guys that were on this island, and then they come out and everybody was kung fu fighting. You know, I mean, it was great. You know, the bad guys are wearing white, the good guys are wearing black, and it's like, oh, it's on now, and you can easily tell who you're rooting for. And Han is just looking around like, oh crap, what's going on? And he's getting pissed, and he's looking at Bruce. He's like, this is your fault. And he steps to Bruce. I will look. We could say a lot about Han. But he did. He's got balls. He stepped. He walked straight past everybody. I mean, he clawed a few people, punched a few people. They got in his way, but he was going right for Bruce. And Bruce was like, "Come on, old man, let's do it."
Look, man, that look. I don't do this any justice at all, but that look that he gave him, kind of like, "All right, let's go." And it was just on, man. It was so beautiful. Real quick too, in the chat. Let's see. Godfather says Jim Kelly's death was very brutal. Wish he had lasted till the end. Good to see a soul brother in this great film, though. That's exactly what I was saying to Coriander. When we were kids, man, that's who we had. That's one of the only ones we had was Jim Kelly. You know, and it was cool to see it, and it was cool to see that he was given respect in the movie. He was not below Bruce Lee and John Saxon. They were a trinity. You know, they had different character arcs and where they ended up, but they were treated as equals. This is 1973, folks. This is 1973, okay? That's all I gotta say. Have we gotten much further? Who knows? That's all I gotta say. But anyways, as we finally get to the end, it was just crazy because the fight with Bruce Lee and Han, the setup for it was what got you invested. You know what I mean? It was earned. You know, something that we talk a lot about in our talks of movies is you want to earn these moments, and I think it was well earned, this fight. Let me just, obviously this is the ending of it, but for both of you guys, what were you thinking? Because then we obviously got to the wonderful mirror scene. I mean, Kill, I'll start with you and then I'll go to Coriander. I mean, what were you thinking? This was just such a great ending to this fight.
Yeah, I mean, because in a way, it's like a threefold fight. It started in the courtyard, then it was kind of in one of his other throne rooms, and then it was in the mirror room. And Han is smart. Han knows, okay, this guy is young, he's good. I gotta use subterfuge, I gotta be sneaky, I gotta change my hand out, because for all you guys that don't know, Han has one hand, and he uses a lead hand, or he switches it to a claw, or bear claw, or whatever. And he's smart, and he knows his castle, he knows his rooms. But that mirror scene, Bruce just looks so awesome as he's just kind of walking past the mirrors, and you're seeing like, you know, multiple versions of him, and Han is like just stalking him. Like Clarice being stalked in Silence of the Lambs at the end.
Point.
I mean, he's being stalked by this guy with his claw, but Bruce is no dummy, man, and it's just amazing. This man, martial arts movies, like seriously, this is 1973. The character building, just the charisma of your star. wow.
Yep. How about you, Coriander? How did this scene? How did it go for you?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, like Killian said, you had him in all those mirrors. I mean, he's getting cut, they're fighting, and yeah, I mean, it was so smart when he, at one point, listened to what his teacher told him.
There you go.
And he started, smashing those mirrors, and
all right.
Yeah, he just, kicked major ass.
You always gotta listen to your Sifu, and like his Sifu said, the opponent only has images and illusions that he hides behind. Destroy the image, and you will overcome your enemy. Look, man,
and he did, man.
This is beautiful shit. I'm sorry, guys. This is martial arts philosophy that's interwoven in a martial arts film with morality tales, with 3 leads that are developed. 3 leads, 3 different nationalities.
Yeah.
It's 1973, guys.
And it worked well.
It worked.
They did it so that it was like perfect, and it was so awesome.
It was, man. And obviously at the end he overcomes Han. When he comes outside, I love the look that he gave Roper. Roper survived, obviously. And then the cops, the helicopters are coming, and Bruce just has this look on his face like,
right.
Now you show up.
Yes. And that was the end of it, guys. I mean, look, guys, obviously we think this movie is amazing. It is amazing. Bruce was just so awesome in this movie. You guys have been talking in the chat. You guys know. I mean, he worked so hard. He helped with all of the actors with their fighting. He did the choreography. I mean, you can see the different moments where, he was helping out Jim Kelly, helping out John Saxon and stuff like that. But the other part about it too is you could tell that this was his passion. This was part of who he was. And I think that these are some of the things that made him so amazing. When I told Coriander, and I'm putting you on the spot here, Coriander, but when I told you that he only did 5 movies, 4 plus Game of Death, and we'll talk about that at some point, you couldn't believe that he only had so few films.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
it's tragic.
Yeah, but the point I was trying to say was this shows how good he was just to have a few films. Yeah. He obviously had TV exposure. We know about that beforehand. But these films, there's only a few, but that's how good he was. As we end up, Werewolf by Lunchtime's in the chat. Hey, how's it going? Saying, hi, guys. I have a Bruce body as a poster on my bedroom wall. So did I.
Nice.
So did I. Right? You remember that kill. I used to have that Bruce Lee poster with the dragon on it. Very cool stuff. Mr. Dan says, Bolo has like 200 credits. Right? God, he's been in everything. Amazing, though. Amazing career. He's fought Bruce Lee, Van Damme, Brandon Lee. It's crazy, man. Drake says, I'll live it when I find out a few years back that Bruce was master to Chuck Norris. Yeah. I mean, they trained together, and Bruce definitely showed Chuck a lot, and Chuck gave a lot of credit to Bruce. Absolutely. Trenchy says that fight was great. Love when they move into the room with mirrors. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The Godfather is saying that was a great scene with the mirrors. The scene where Bruce rubs the cut on his chest and licks it is so Bruce. Right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's just badass, man.
He was badass, man. Absolutely. And Godfather saying Bruce's last complete film. Yeah. Unfortunately. But anyways, guys, that's about all we've got for Enter the Dragon. I mean, we could keep going on and on, but we're not going to do that. We'll come back with something else, though, especially if you guys would like to see that. With that being said, let us know in the comment section, guys. Seriously, let us know if you want us to do another Bruce stream where we just kind of talk about Bruce. We do have some more things we're going to do with Bruce, as well as a lot of other martial arts movies and stars for our Kung Fu Theater series. So definitely check it out. I'm going to have my reaction to the Bruce Lee versus O'Hara fight scene that'll be coming out hopefully within an hour or so. So check that out too, guys. Leave us a like. It really helps us so much to help support the channel. And yeah, this was fun, Kill. This was fun for you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like
Awesome
watching.
movie.
Yeah,
I'm
I
kind of
feel
sad
like
this was the
watching-
first time I've seen it because
Hey,
I wish I'd seen it like a million times.
hey,
Yeah.
now you're in. Now you're in, and you know.
Right?
And I'm serious, man. Even as a kid, and Killian knows this, I just started to search all those movies out, all these martial arts movies, and it had to start somewhere. So I'm glad it started with Bruce. So anyways, guys, we will catch you guys later. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace out.
Peace.
Upchurch.